And thank you for joining the Lane County Board of Commissioners and all of us here at Lane County in welcoming you to our annual State of the County presentation. I think first up, we'd like to get a round of applause for the Oregon Youth Men's Ensemble. And the Oregon Youth Men's Ensemble is directed by Chris Dobson. And Mr. Dobson, could you please stand? He's the choir director at South Eugene High School and arranged to bring the Oregon Youth Men's Ensemble here. They are students from the Eugene School District, but also include young men attending Cresswell, Springfield, and there's also several homeschooled school students here. And all but one of them are staying. I guess it's the homeschool person that has to leave, but I don't know. They don't have school today, so they have agreed to stay to watch the State of the County event, which I'm told has been going on since 1851 on the first Monday of the year. So during our program, we're going to hear another presentation by them, another round of their songs, and I just really appreciate you guys coming and singing today and being a part of this. At this time, I'd like to welcome the University of Oregon Army ROTC. They will now be presenting the colors, and please welcome them. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please be seated. Well, this is our annual State of the County presentation, and first order of business after our Pledge of Allegiance is to welcome and specifically introduce all of the Lane County Commissioners that are present. I see our Vice Chair, Heather Buck from East Lane County here. Jay Bozovich, Commissioner from the West Lane District. Pat Farr from the North Eugene District, and Joe Burney from the Springfield District. I'd like to also welcome the other county elected officials that are here in order of me seeing them. Patty Perlow, Lane County District Attorney, and Sheriff Cliff Harold is here also. And I don't see our assessor, Mike Coles, but he is here in spirit. So now I have a number of other dignitaries. We have Senator James Manning from the Oregon State Legislature. Let's see, we have, we also have Chief Deputy Carl Wilson from the Lane County District Attorney, Lane County Sheriff's Office. And is Cheryl Betchart here? Cheryl, okay, right over here. Cheryl is our Lane County Clerk. And Lane County Administrator Steve Mokrahysky. Counselor Emily Semple. Counselor Betty Taylor. Counselor Chris Pryor. Springfield Mayor Christine Lundberg. And let's see, who else? This is not from memory. I'd like to thank Alex Kyler for putting this together. Oh, there's Mr. Coles. Welcome. Jacob Fox, Executive Director of Homes for Good. Very much a partner agency to the commissioners. Let's see. Oh, we have several commissioner spouses here. Maddie Burney and Debbie Farr, who is spouse to Commissioner Farr, but also she is a Bethel School Board member. Sarah Maderi, acting city manager. Carrie Westland from Eugene Cascades and Coast. Bonnie Mickelson, Springfield Chamber of Commerce. Jenny Ullum, many hats, Jenny Ullum. Sarah Means. She's with the governor's office, works in regional solutions, and she was formerly Lane County's economic development, so welcome back. And Ed McMahon, Lane County Home Builders, welcome Ed. And Noreen Donald, CEO of United Way. So thank you all for coming today. It is now my privilege to once again introduce the Oregon Youth Men's Ensemble, and they'll be presenting a brief program for us. And I'd like to turn this over to Chris Dobson. And Mr. Dobson, if you would, you could tell us the selections that you're singing.
The Oregon Young Men's Ensemble will be performing 4 songs. The first is Shalom Haverim, a traditional Hebrew round. The second is Salite Unigenito by Michael Pretorius. Our third selection today is Ubi Caritas by Ola Yelo. And our final selection is America, My Country.
Shalom, Haverim, Shalom, Haverim, Shalom, Shalom. Lehitraot, Lehitraot, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, Haverim, Shalom, Haverim, Shalom, Haverim, Shalom, Shalom. Lehitraot, 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 Shalom. Shalom, Haverim, 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 Shalom, Salute unigenito, Christo Dei Filio, Redemptori Domino puerulo jacenti in praeserpio. Ein kleines Kinderlein liegt in dem Krippelein.
Alle liebe Engelein dienen dem Kinderlein.
Alle liebe Engelein dienen dem Kinderlein. Salute unigenito, Christo Dei Filio, Redemptori Domino puerulo jacenti in praeserpio.
Singt und
Singt Jesu Gottes Kind und Mariens Söhnelein, unserem lieben Jesulein im Krippelein beim Röhrstein und beim Nesselein. Ein kleines Kinderlein liegt in dem Krippelein.
alle liebe Engelein dienen dem Kinderlein.
Alle liebe Engelein dienen dem Kinderlein. Singt und klingt Jesu Gottes Kind und Mariens Söhnelein, unserem lieben Jesulein im Krippelein beim Röhrstein und beim Nesselein. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est. Congregavit nos in unum Christi amor. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est. Congregavit nos in unum Christi amor. Christi exultemus et in ipso iucundemur, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum, exultemus et in ipso iucundemur, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum, Deum vivum. Et ex corde diligamus nos in cielo. Et ex corde diligamus nos in cielo. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est. Congregavit nos in unum Christi amor. Christi amor. sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let drops their silence break, the sound Rome, let freedom ring.
Well, thank you very much. That was amazing. Let's have another round of applause. Just wanted to note for our viewers and for those present that America was written in 1831 by Samuel Francis Smith, but the arrangement you just heard was done by Mr. Chris Dobson. So thank you so much. Well, now it's my privilege and honor to present the state of the county. And the state of the county isn't solely a function of what I've done. It's not even solely the function of our 5 commissioners. It's really a report on behalf of everyone involved in Lane County government. And I know that there's a lot of people here that I didn't introduce that are part of Lane County government, but in addition to the commissioners and our district attorney and assessor and sheriff, I'd like anybody connected with Lane County government to stand up. So we can thank you too. Go ahead, commissioners, you can stand up too. Come on, Jay, Pat. Thank you very much. This is very much a team effort, and I'm sure a few people in this room have heard that there is some division in American politics or society. And I just want to show you, and hopefully this presentation will emphasize that to the extent we are able, we are really pulling this whole sled together. We are a team, and I just cannot thank the commissioners in particular enough for the hard work that they put into this job. And Commissioner Bozovich, Commissioner Farr, Commissioner Burney, Commissioner Buck, I just want to say that you know, the public should understand just how hard this board works and how much you put of your personal life and your professional life into these jobs. It just really is a big, big job, and I really appreciate working with each and every one of you. And I know that you really have the best for this community in mind every day you come to work. Last year, the Board of Commissioners updated our strategic plan, which outlines our focus of work through calendar year 2021. During the last 12 months, our departments have accomplished an impressive amount of work in our key areas. And these key areas I'll go over in this presentation: vibrant communities, robust infrastructure, our community and partnerships, and a safe, healthy county. And yes, there will be a test. So to start with vibrant communities, part of our commitment to supporting vibrant communities is enhancing economic opportunity for all of our residents. Access to high-speed internet is critical for businesses to operate efficiently, but this is not available to most of the more than 100,000 people that live outside of Lane County's 12 incorporated cities. to help bring access and with it opportunities to rural Lane County. We have partnered with Technology Association of Oregon, MLab, US Ignite, and the City of Eugene to develop Speed Up America, a unique tool that can provide accurate information about the availability of internet service providers and real speeds received. The data gathered through Speed Up America will help inform policymakers and community leaders on where the true data deserts exist and how to prioritize support. Our work to support and enhance our local economy is not limited to rural Lane County. We've also worked to recruit a global company with 600 new jobs to Springfield earlier this year. Wayfair, Commissioner Burney, Wayfair opened its first West Coast office to support the company's customer service department. In addition to the 600 new jobs, Wayfair will also be implementing a number of workplace programs that promote upward mobility, diversity, equity, and inclusion, values we can get behind here at Lane County. In Eugene, Lane County partnered with the City of Eugene, Lane Transit District, and the Lane Council of Governments to pilot MGO. MGO is a free on-demand transportation system designed to alleviate parking demand and support commerce in downtown Eugene by making it easier for people to access local businesses and services downtown. Number two, robust infrastructure. Robust infrastructure is our second strategic plan priority, and it's quite often literally the foundation upon which our community is built and moves. In 2019, we completed 10 road and bridge construction projects totaling more than $13 million, including a rebuild of the historic Bridge Street Bridge near Deerhorn and Americans with Disabilities Act upgrades to 138 pedestrian ramps. We also officially took jurisdiction on the 42-mile stretch of territorial highway that goes from the Douglas Lane border up to the Benton Lane border. That 42-mile stretch of what was a state highway allows us to begin digging in, literally, to start making critical safety improvements to this highway. In turn, we handed over Delta Highway to the state. The funding to support the increase in road improvements comes in large part from the Keep Oregon Moving Transportation package that was passed by the Oregon legislature in 2017. Our Road and Bridge Maintenance Division and the rest of Public Works was literally on the job in a big way when we took that big hit in early 2019 when we had the record-breaking snowstorm that swept through our region. The debris cleanup along Lane County roads is still underway, and so far 2,200 tons of debris have been removed from Lane County roadways. Our Bridge and Road Division did such an incredible job of reopening these roads and supporting emergency access and helping trapped residents that the entire division and every employee was recognized by the Oregon chapter of the American Public Works Association as Everyday Heroes for 2019. The board also had an opportunity to honor them as well, and their service is unbelievable in that emergency. Our infrastructure is not limited just to physical assets. Our ability to conduct fair and proper elections is critical to the well-being of our community. Lane County Elections processed 56,517 voter registration transactions through November and installed a second high-speed ballot sorter to increase efficiency and provide redundancy in preparation of the 2020 election cycle. The Lane County Clerk's Office is also the keeper of important records for our community, including real property deeds and marriage licensing. In 2019, we processed more than 54,000 documents through November. Another way to look at that work is that our small county clerk's office processed more than one document every 2 minutes during work hours in 2019. We've been steadily working to digitize our historical records, and this year we digitized nearly 2 million document images. That's 6 terabytes of data from August 1973 to the present. When I read that, I thought, wait a minute, I was in college in 1973. So it's pretty far back. Our financial infrastructure has continued to stabilize. The Financial Services Division received a clean opinion from our independent auditors for the most recent fiscal year, and Lane County also received a clean opinion from our independent accountant on the financial data for the voter-approved jail and youth services public safety levy. We're making sure that we spend the money the way the public authorized it to be spent. We are also taking proactive steps to protect our financial, operational, informational infrastructure by completing a cybersecurity review and continuously making the responsible improvements to safeguard that critical information. Our people and partnerships is part of our strategic plan priority that we added in the most recent update. It reflects how important our employees and community partners are to be able to serve our community. We have committed to increasing employee engagement because we know that our employees are our most valuable asset, and engaged employees are productive and invested in their roles. We integrated our 3 core behaviors: focused on solutions, driven to connect, and passion to serve into our job postings, our hiring process, and our performance evaluations so that every employee can be successful. We've been closely tracking our employee turnover and pleased to report that it is in healthy range. Some turnover is important. It is important because it brings in new employees, new ideas, and provides room for growth. We saw a total of 11% turnover in 2019, and more than half of those due to retirement or taking new positions within the county. This year, we negotiated 4 collective bargaining agreements with our employee groups, including our Lane County Peace Officers Association, Admin Pro, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Physicians, and Local 626. The negotiations with Local 626 were conducted using interest-based bargaining, which focused on developing shared values and strengthening relationships between union leadership and county leadership. Our efforts have not gone unnoticed. In 2019, Lane County was awarded the 3rd healthiest large employer in Oregon for the 3rd year in a row. Nationally, we placed within the top 100 healthiest workplaces in America. Lane County received these awards in part for our successful shift to a self-funded health insurance plan in 2015, investing in wellness and preventative care for employees, as well as other wellness-related efforts. Our focus on wellness has had a twofold effect. It reduces costs, allowing Lane County to invest more resources into direct services, and it increases employee productivity and engagement. A safe, healthy county is another of our strategic priorities in our strategic plan. In 2019, we accomplished a number of goals that helped the safety and health of our residents. The District Attorney's Office reviewed more than 5,400 criminal cases through November from Lane County law enforcement agencies. The Department of Transportation funded a driving under the influence of intoxicated investigator who performed 105 warrant attempts, helping to keep our roads safer and to ensure that there are consequences for those who choose to drive while intoxicated. The Victim Services Division supported more than 2,300 Lane County residents, helping them with tasks such as filing for orders of protection or navigating the legal process. The Family Law Division collected approximately $21 million for children from parents who were delinquent on child support, and it supported that $21 million for children in Lane County. They also handled over 4,000 child support cases. Our specialty treatment courts graduated more than 60 individuals who completed more than a year of treatment for addiction or mental health issues and who have demonstrated their commitment to being positive members of our community. These treatment in courts include drug court, veterans court, and mental health court. In April 2019, The Lane County Board of Commissioners appointed Cliff Harold to serve as Lane County Sheriff after a public application process. Sheriff Harold's long service, which began in 1990, demonstrates his commitment to our community. And I'll just mention Sheriff Harold began with our Youth Explorer post in 1990 when he was at Cresswell High School, and we really appreciate your service, Sheriff. Sheriff Harold succeeded Byron Trapp, who retired after 31 years of service. In addition to welcoming the new sheriff in town, the Lane County Sheriff's Office has, for the first time since 2011, been able to fully staff the dispatch center. We all know dispatchers are highly trained and provide a critical link between callers and emergency responders. The Sheriff's Police Services Division trained 5 new patrol deputies during 2019. This is a nearly year-long training process that includes 16 weeks at the Oregon Department of Public Safety Standards and Training Police Academy and 18 weeks of hands-on field training before they're ready for solo. We have also made significant investments in mental health services at the Lane County Jail. We all know that the jail is not an ideal place to provide these mental health services, but the reality is that up to 60% of inmates need treatment, and the jail is the only option available to many of them. Last year, the Sheriff's Office increased the number of mental health staff to 6 full-time positions and continue to prioritize inmate wellness services. Those services are provided by a mix of mental health staff, jail staff, and outside providers, providing options to help inmates manage their wellness needs has led to a decrease in depression, anxiety, obsessive-compulsive behavior, insomnia, and psychosis among inmates. It's also increased the number of inmates who are able to access needed medications. Our role in providing support does not end when a person is released from jail. For those on post-prison supervision, the Lane County Parole and Probation staff provides an important path to successful reentry in the community. With growing numbers of women assigned to supervision, a large portion of those women having children, Parole and Probation opened a justice-involved women's reporting center to provide female parolees with a safe place to perform their required check-ins with their children with them. The center is equipped with victim services and child care because we know that the vast majority of incarcerated women and women on supervision are victims themselves and need a different kind of support to be successful as compared to men on probation. Currently, our Parole and Probation Division is scattered in 15 locations. In December, the Board of Commissioners voted to purchase property on 4 corners in Eugene to serve as a new home for parole and probation. This will increase our efficiency and reduce the number of lease spaces. The challenges created by such widespread offices haven't stopped parole and probation from continuously working to improve how they serve our community. In fact, the training program developed by our local parole and probation office has become the preferred model for officer training in the state of Oregon, and early data suggests a 36% reduction in new crimes committed by those on supervision. I plan to share more of how Lane County is working toward a healthy county a bit later, but for now, I'll just take pride in showing that our Health and Human Services Department has established partnerships with both Trillium and Pacific Source to implement the coordinated care for 90,000 Lane County residents who are Oregon Health Plan members, including managing the behavioral health system and providing critical primary care for behavioral health clinical services. We've also partnered with Florence and West Lane County to provide mobile mental health crisis response to help resolve conflicts stemming from behavioral crises before they become a law enforcement issue, a model that Cahoots created here in Eugene and has served the metro area well for several years. Thank you. There's a number of other areas that we've made progress on, and to somewhat break up this reasonably length speech, I would like to now invite our friends from Lane Council of Governments and and Ms. Ashbridge, our public information officer. One note, this video was made primarily by Ms. Ashbridge with the great work of Neil Moyer, who works for the Lane Council of Governments, and he put together they put together the series of interviews that you're going to see in the video. Despite increased investments from Lane County and our city partners, the number of homeless individuals and families in our community continues to grow. The annual 2019 point-in-time count recorded 2,165 homeless individuals as compared to 1,642 in 2018. Lane County remains committed to finding new solutions and improving our existing efforts when it comes to reducing homelessness. An important aspect of reaching that goal is providing adequate emergency shelter beds. Lane County and the City of Eugene are in the process of looking for suitable property on which to build a 75-bed low-barrier shelter. In the meantime, the county and city have increased funding to double the capacity of the Dusk to Dawn shelter, which now serves up to 200 people per night. Cold weather emergency beds are provided by a number of organizations in our community, from the Eugene Mission and a number of churches in Florence and other cities to the Egan Warming Centers that operate an average of 10 locations in the metro area when temperatures dip below 30 degrees. Lane County is a proud financial supporter of Egan Warming Center and has committed more than $1.8 million in support of seasonal and emergency shelter, along with diversion services this year alone. Beyond emergency shelter, we need 350 units of permanent supportive housing that can assist the most vulnerable and difficult to serve members of the homeless population. Lane County, along with Homes for Good and several other partners, is supporting the construction of 51 new units of permanent supportive housing as part of the MLK Commons project that broke ground in November. Lane County has also provided $1.5 million in funding from one-time sources to support development of 40 additional units of permanent supportive housing, including rural units, through community partner agencies. We are also working closely with Homes for Good to develop move-on strategies to help people stabilize and transition successfully from emergency housing into long-term housing. Our ultimate goal is to ensure that homelessness in our community becomes rare, brief, and non-recurring.
That reducing greenhouse gas emissions through the use of clean fuels, public transit, cycling, alternative energy, technology enhancements, and higher efficiency vehicles and facilities has positive impacts on community health. We're beginning the first phase of a two-phased approach to the development of the Climate Action Plan. Due to the urgency of the impacts of climate change, we plan to focus first on actions that are under the direct control of the county, specifically Lane County's internal operations. The first phase will include establishing a greenhouse gas emissions inventory for Lane County's internal operations so that we can measure any progress against an accurate baseline. We will identify and prioritize emission reduction strategies for our operations. The second phase will focus on exploring policies with broader community implications that may be more difficult to implement. While renewable fuels and other measures to reduce our carbon footprint are not new to Lane County, we're excited to begin studying and making changes in a more systematic way across our organization.
We are excited to be recognized as 2019's third healthiest large employer in Oregon for a third year by the Portland Business Journal. Lane County received the award in part for our successful shift to a self-funded health insurance plan in 2015, investing in wellness and preventative care for employees, including the Live Well Center and other wellness-related efforts. We have also increased the number of wellness programs offered to employees, including organization-wide healthy eating and physical activity competitions, as well as an emphasis on tobacco cessation and mindfulness. Lane County has also placed within the top 100 healthy employers nationally for 2 years in a row. Our focus on wellness has a twofold effect. It increases employee productivity and engagement, and it reduces costs, allowing Lane County to invest more resources into direct services.
In 2019, Lane County established a separate Office of Emergency Management so that it could provide more funding and resources for this critical service. While we don't face some of the challenges other areas do when it comes to hurricanes and frequent tornadoes, Oregon and Lane County still faces a number of hazards, including wildfires, winter storms, flooding, earthquakes, and human-caused disasters such as chemical spills. The focus for much of 2019 and continuing this year is on strengthening partnerships among first responders, utilities, local governments, state agencies, and disaster recovery organizations to ensure we can come together to provide the best possible service to our community in a disaster. We had the opportunity to test those relationships in early 2019 when the largest winter storm in decades affected everything east of the Coast Range in Lane County. It was clear as the first flakes began to fall that behind the commitment of everyone involved in storm response was a strong desire to serve their community. We have a wonderful foundation of dedicated individuals to build a more resilient community that starts at home and continues up through local and state responders. I'm confident that we'll be able to meet the challenges our community should face in any disaster. Together, we can overcome anything that comes our way.
Responsible stewardship of taxpayer resources is at the foundation of our efforts and key to our success. Citing prudent, proactive leadership, Moody's Investors Service has upgraded Lane County's credit rating from AA2 to AA1, which is the second highest rating it provides. This latest upgrade is a result of diligent efforts over several years to create structurally balanced budgets, lower debt, manage benefit costs, and increase reserves. In addition to financial stewardship of taxpayer resources, Lane County has also stabilized and increased service levels in several critical areas, including public health, safety, and infrastructure. Our credit rating increase is particularly notable given the fact that Lane County receives the third lowest per capita local revenue among the 36 counties in Oregon. This is the second upgrade in 3 years and the highest credit rating Lane County has ever received. The more we can do to improve our credit rating, reduce internal expenses, and manage increasing costs, the more funding we can put toward direct services to improve lives in our community.
As we saw in the video, creating solutions to homelessness is a major focus of our work here at Lane County. In 2019, the Lane County Board of Commissioners declared homelessness to be an emergency in our community. This declaration served to reinforce how committed the commissioners, county staff, and partner agencies are to ensuring homelessness in our community is, as we put it in the video, rare, brief, and non-recurring. The declaration also reflects our awareness that most, if not all, of our community-based services are operating at capacity. The new units of permanent supportive housing that I mentioned in the video will provide much-needed housing for the most vulnerable and difficult to serve people in our community, not just in Eugene, but in rural communities as well. Square One Villages received financial support this year to make its Cottage Village in Cottage Grove a reality. That project is bringing low-income tiny homes to southern Lane County. We've also been making steady progress along with our partners at the City of Eugene in implementing the key recommendations from the Technical Assistance Collaborative, the TAC report, that address immediate needs and build a more sustainable system in the long run. And we're working to find a suitable site for a low barrier shelter Lane County and the City of Eugene have recently agreed to come up together to further increase the capacity of dusk to dawn by an additional 64 spaces as soon as possible. We're also partnering with the City of Eugene to launch a mobile street outreach team this year to help meet people where they are and connect them to housing and critical services. Part of our work includes identifying opportunities for communities across the county. We're also meeting with our partners at Homes for Good and the City of Eugene to explore a process to incentivize and encourage landlords to make their properties available to people who are homeless. We hope to use that to open up housing opportunities from Florence to Oak Ridge and Junction City to Cottage Grove. As we continue to make progress on this work, we know it will take relentless dedication, and to help us all keep moving, we're in the process of hiring an individual who can coordinate these efforts. We're excited to introduce this person to our community once we've found the best possible candidate, and we're excited to get them working toward building more supportive housing and opening the shelter. It is easy to be inspired by the work accomplished by Lane County in 2019. We should take a few minutes to appreciate the efforts of our staff, community partners, and residents for their work to continually make Lane County a better place to live, and a better place to work, and a better place to play. At this point, I'd like to say that it's been my distinct privilege and honor to be chair of the board. That service ends today, actually tomorrow. And tomorrow, the Lane County Board of Commissioners will meet to vote on a new board chair and a new vice chair. And how often have you heard me say this? I am not a candidate for either of those offices. So I am excited about this year. I'm excited about the work that we have before us. And I want to thank everyone involved in this presentation today. It was certainly a big group effort. And at this time, I'd like to invite you out for some refreshments. Thank you so much.